Hey gamers, welcome to the PTGC podcast. My name is Gerard, and with me are my co-hosts Gio and Mike. Today's episode is about the Microsoft Showcase that happened this past weekend. Overall, 30 games were presented in trailer form, with some new surprises and old, definitely veteran games being shown out. Would like to start off with our overall thoughts because I believe the showcase was I don't want to say a slam dunk, but it was very good. Does anyone agree with me, or do you have your own thoughts about it?
You want to go first, Mike?
I'll take it.
All right, good.
I mean, I thought overall it was good because, these are the games that they're anticipating coming out and you want to see the trailers or how it looks. So I thought they did a good job in terms of just showing the games out. And I'll leave the critiques till maybe a little further down the road. But I think overall, they did a good job. And I saw a lot of games that I was interested in. Saw a lot of games that may look good, So, thought it's a good job.
What about you, Gia?
Me personally, I actually enjoyed the showcase more than I thought I would. I didn't, I'm not really one to watch those kind of things. So, me tuning in, obviously, so we can do this, I was more interested in it than I thought I would be. So I'll give it that. And I did enjoy the games that I got to see on there a lot more than I thought I would. Because even some of the single player games, like I've said before, I usually don't really care to play single player games and story modes like that anymore. But some of them I'm kind of excited for. I was actually, I'd say, pleasantly surprised by the showcase overall and the games that are coming out.
Right. And then, we'll go back to Gio on this. So, because you mentioned you're excited about the games. What games are you particularly excited about? But we already know it's one of them is Gears. We can skip that.
Yeah, you can bypass that.
Yeah, but that's my biggest one. Gears of War, E-Day.
Don't worry about
it. Yeah. All right, I'll keep going. What I would say also is Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, as well as Mecha Break, because that was that's a game that's very related to the one that I mentioned back when we were saying games that need reboots, its own vendors. I also like the Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers. I think that looks awesome as well. There was a lot of good ones, but those were the ones that really stood out to me and kind of entertained me. Oh, Expedition 33, Claire Obscure. Yeah. I didn't realize it the first time I watched it that it looks like a turn-based RPG. And I was like, wow, I haven't seen really that in a long time. But the graphics for that game look amazing. It looks beautiful.
It's a JRPG. It reminds me of a different game that I cannot recall the name for the past 3 days.
Yeah.
But yes, very JRPG like.
I really was keen on that when I rewatched a couple of them. So yeah, I told you too, which I didn't know you were a State of Decay player like that. I'm interested in this new one that's coming out. I mean, I liked a lot of the games that was on there, so I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of gaming to do the next year and a half because most of these games come out this year and next year.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Mike? Any exciting games?
Oh yeah, there was a few. I won't say most, but a few games that I'm definitely interested in, especially the Claire Expedition 33. I felt that looked graphically good and the story was good. State of Decay 3. It was intriguing. Another zombie. The story looked like that. I like how they presented it. So it caught my interest for sure. And then Metal Gear Solid. I'm just gonna.
I was leaving that for Gerard.
I actually have words about this, but continue.
I did see the Diablo 4. That's probably one of the games I may dabble into, but I don't know. We'll see. And then what looked good? The Indiana Jones game and the Great Circle. The storyline looks good.
I liked how they make it look like Harrison Ford.
It does.
It really does.
All right, Mike. What? Any other exciting games?
I mean, Assassin's Creed. I'll probably.
Yeah. You liked it, right? Yeah, well, judging me. Oh, Gerard's got something to say.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Mike to finish before I say anything.
I think it's just a lot.
Stop interrupting.
Yeah, no,
Gio.
yeah, stop. But no, there's a lot of games that I thought was interesting. Like things that I'd never heard of, like Winter Barrel. I guess that looked like a RuneScape type of game. The mixtape looks interesting, but it felt like a teenager type of game. I mean, there's so many. Life is Strange. Double Exposure.
Are you gonna say all 30 games, Mike?
I know, right?
I feel like I'm going. I feel like I'm gonna go down the list.
The most ones that really stood out to you. That's it. Relax.
All right.
It's a lot. It's a lot of good games. I'm hoping it's looking good in the future.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you the games I'm looking forward to, and then I'll explain which ones I don't look forward to for a reason. I'm looking forward to Exposition 33. The JRPG reminds me of a game that I used to play. I can't remember the name, but has the same mechanics, JRPG elements, kind of quick time events in the abilities. Feels very like those old style game, and I enjoy that aspect. I love it. I'm looking forward to a good JRPG, or at least a AAA JRPG that isn't Persona 5. State of Decay 3. I own State of Decay 2. I would play it solo, but I'd love to play with other people, and especially with a new State of Decay 3 coming out, I'm pretty sure there's going to be more people playing it, so hype for that. Mecha Break, I am going to pick up because none of you guys played the Gundam fighter game.
Nah, I've seen it.
It was basically Gundam's version of Overwatch.
Okay.
I enjoyed the aspect of it, but it's a very, in the 1.0 didn't provide much. So I was going to wait until later, until they release more Gundams and there's a reason to play. With that being said, last but not least, Age of Mythology, the reboot, the remaster. I'm hoping an RTS remaster actually does well for once, because the World of Warcraft or the Warcraft remaster fell flat on its face. The StarCraft remaster was buggy as hell. I need one of the main 3 RTSs to have a remaster that's good for once. So we're hoping this Age of Mythology actually turns out very well. Now, I have words to say about the Metal Gear Solid, because I realize it's a remaster and I did not get enough information. I need more information about it. Are they adding stuff to it, or is it just a HD remaster? Because if it's just an HD remaster, they already did it for the PS4. They're basically just making a PC port of it. And as much as I would like that, I already emulate the game, so I don't see the point of me buying the game again. I don't really need to talk much about Diablo 4, but just to go over real quick. Diablo 4 Season 4 was the only season that a lot of people praised, besides Season 2. But Season 2 was they're going in the right direction, and they U-turned on Season 3. So with the expansion coming out for Diablo 4, my hopes are, I hope it's an even number that it comes out, because they don't have good track records with odd number seasons. So, is there anything else I would like to talk about? I'll shoot back. Indiana Jones. I'm not here for it. That entire trailer was mostly all movie cinema. It wasn't even gameplay. The half of it, the back 2 minutes was gameplay. The first 8 minutes was just a video clip. I'm just motherfucker, am I actually playing the game, or am I watching a fucking trailer?
Gerard, you do know it's a movie, right?
Yeah, right.
It's a game about a movie. All right, it's a game about a movie. All right.
I know, but so it's emulating a movie. That's what it's doing.
You know what game also did the exact same thing? Uncharted. I stopped playing Uncharted.
A lot of people love Uncharted, bro.
Look,
a lot.
That's why this is me shooting shots, man. If you're gonna be in a single player, if you're gonna be shooting, or excuse me, if you're going to be playing a single player game, which is story forward, I agree. I love it. If you're gonna be story forward, Indiana Jones is a good movie. I don't think the story adapts well to games, only because the reason why, and this is probably my personal take, the reason why I enjoy the movies is because there's suspense, but more also that there is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's suspense plus mystery. The only thing you're going to get from the game is you don't get suspense. It's not a horror game. It's going to be an action game. So it's going to be similar to Uncharted. And are they going to go the exact Uncharted route? If so, it's just going to be an Uncharted clone. I'd just rather play Uncharted. Or if they go more with the movie line, then it's going to be like, all right, it's going to be not actiony and mostly movie. Why the hell am I paying $70 for this game? I just rewatched the movies.
Can I just say I didn't think you would go in on Indiana Jones so hard? That was the least expected game for me to think you would have so much to say about.
Because it was a 10-minute trailer. It was actually
Yeah, I know. It was probably 2-3 minutes, and he's 10 minutes.
So I actually.
Oh god!
I
timestamp?
There are timestamps in it. But I was gonna say,
it ain't that
the games that are the longest ones, I expect it to be the longest one. Like Call of Duty had its own thing. Diablo 4 has its own thing. What's the other one I'm thinking of that was long? Dragon Age was long. I have no problem with Dragon Age.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I didn't like the visuals. Like it's a detour. It's a not a detour. It's a turn from Diablo or not Diablo 2. Too many games. It's a turn from the Dragon Age 2. And it just doesn't hit with me. And it's probably, I don't have nothing against the game. So I was like, I might try it. But right now it doesn't visually appeal to me.
That's understandable. Yeah. But what did you guys? All right, so Black Ops. Personally, I'm more excited after that showcase. Obviously, we'll do a more dedicated episode to a lot of these games. But just to touch on it, I'm excited about some of the things that we critiqued Call of Duty 4 in previous episodes. They kind of look like they're addressing that, and knowing that Treyarch took 4 years to develop this game or make this game, I see promise in this release. This is the first Call of Duty in a while that I'm excited for.
I don't know about promise. I see potential, because it's been in the oven more than a fucking minute. But
yeah, I mean, promising. It looks promising though.
It does look promising. Potential. I did see some the UI when they were showing the trailer and the gameplay. Some of it looks like very old, like Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4 UI. So hesitant on that UI wise, because we already know Call of Duty games don't have the best UI recently. So we're hoping they fix the UI issues. Gameplays wise, they just how do I say this? I need to see the multiplayer trailer, and I'll bring this up in critiques a little bit later, because I definitely want to talk about the things we wished either were shown or things that we have complaints about. But I kind of wish they didn't choose to show us the single player right now, instead show us the multiplayer and then show the single player later. The reason why is because the multiplayer, I feel, shouldn't take long, while the single player I want to know more about should be its own thing. That should be its own thing, because multiplayer is what are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me the game modes? You're going to tell me the perk system? And you're going to tell me the matchmaking system. There you go. Those are the 3 things you're going to talk about. If you go into any depth, they're just like, we have a weapon customization thing. I was like, great. You don't need to tell me how I'm going to put on a muzzle and how I'm going to put in a magazine and how I'm going to put in a stock or optics or barrel. It's like, no, you don't need to tell me that. Just tell me it exists. Unless you're letting me change every single thing, I can make weapons from scratch. Just you saying that you have a weapon customization is all you need to say.
I agree with you on that. I don't. I told you guys before you guys watched it too. I said, hey, listen, they don't talk much about the multiplayer because there's going to be its own dedicated thing. And I think the biggest reason they're doing that, and we'll get more in depth, and like I said, a dedicated episode. It's they just know there's a lot more expected out of the multiplayer. You know what I mean? They have like 100 million player base every month. About they got a lot of expectations on them, so I think they're taking their time with that, and I feel like there is some hints of stuff, and it looks promising with the introduction of Omni movement, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to get away from that.
right.
Unless you got something, Mike, you want to touch on that?
No.
Not really.
I think it was fine showing the single player. That's basically the game, and the multiplayer is just like a.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody's excited for it, but maybe they're just holding off until like build more anticipation. Anticipation.
Yeah. Anticipation.
I've been waiting to ask you though. What did you think about Doom?
Are you talking to Mike or me?
You.
Me? Okay.
You.
Sure. So, Doom: The Dark Ages. It was too short of a trailer for me to give my thing. It looked great. It looked amazing, to be quite honest. The shield, very good. Little additional thing that you can stop bullets and stuff like that. The chain sword like around the shield reminds me of Gears of War. Funny enough. It looks like Doom Eternal with just the shield. I need to see more like landscapes and the weapons. Though the Skull Shredder was pretty cool weapon. There was but yeah, I liked it. I don't know if I'm gonna be picking it up. I need to see more about it first, before anything.
Yeah.
But
I thought visually it looked beautiful. That game looked amazing. Like I was like wow, and it looked. I never really played. I know. We talked about this. I don't know why. For some reason, those kind of first-person shooters just mess me up. So I don't play them too much. Yeah, because the Unreal Tournament was like that too, wasn't it?
Yes, Quake was also.
Yeah, that's why I never really played them like them. But this one looks really good. I can't lie. I might want to try it. I could just see if I can physically handle it.
All right. Surprises. Anyone was surprised by anything? Obviously.
Mike, would you?
Ooh.
Yeah, I want to see what Mike was surprised about.
I saw Mike's face.
I mean, I think really surprising. The Fallout 76, I didn't think didn't look. I don't know. To me, it was like I didn't want to play Fallout 76.
I was gonna say I'm surprised Fallout 76 took this long to release a playable ghoul character.
Yeah, and it doesn't even look like a. I don't know. I'll have to see more of it, but it didn't look appeasing. I didn't know. Like surprising, South of Midnight looks like a good game.
I liked it. I really liked how it looks.
I'm excited for that.
Which one?
South of Midnight.
Oh, so that's one of the ones you're excited about?
I was surprised about it. No, Mike is excited about all the games.
Yeah, I know. He was gonna
now, wow, I ain't excited about that.
That trailer, man. That trailer.
I like how Mike said "wow" before Flight Simulator. That's how much he's not looking forward to WoW's release.
Look,
I'm gonna play Flight Simulator. You know that
Flight Simulator is not a bad game. Do not knock it.
Seriously.
I'm not knocking it, but out of all games for him to go after, it was World of Warcraft.
Of course it was.
After we just talked about Cataclysm.
Can't do it. Nope. Never.
So any more surprises? I do have. I was genuinely surprised about the visual aspect Dragon Age had. As I said, they did a turn. I was surprised that they did 30 games in the showcase rather than like the usual like 20, because it's a lot of games to be like presenting and everything like that. I know like a mix of them are like things we know about already. Like we all know Flight Simulator is going to be released. We knew already the WoW expansion. We didn't have the trailer yet, but we knew it was coming. We also knew like the new season of Sea of Thieves and like Fable. We got some old callbacks and some updates on those games, which is nice. But the most genuinely surprising thing, I think, was them putting 30 games on the showcase to me.
Actually, yeah. When I when Gio looked at the video, it was like 2 hours. Holy Christ! Gotta be a
I think
lot of games.
I think it was mostly advertisement, right? It was 2 hours.
Mm,
Like the showcase itself was like an hour and 15 minutes or something.
Well, after the
45,
showcase,
like 45. It was
Uh,
over 2.5 hours almost.
oh.
The
yeah,
live,
after the showcase, they did like what a
They
look
did
at like
the
the Call
Call
of
of Duty.
Duty.
Mhm.
Yep,
yeah,
that was like 25 minutes itself or 30 minutes itself.
but
That's why I
30
said
is a
it.
lot of games.
But I mean, honestly, out of the 30 though, I'd say 25 of them are really, really good looking games. There's some that are just you just know they're not your like play style per se, or you just know that's not a game that you want to play. Like we talked about mixtape. Mixtape, I think it looks like a very unique game. It's a very unique looking game. I like the concept of it, the idea of it. Is it a game that I want to play? No,
I see.
no,
It
but it
looks like a
looks.
younger, yeah, like a younger type of gamers.
But it's a throwback to '80s, which is
Yeah,
weird at the same time. I guess it's to like let this generation's kind of feel what it was to like live back in the '80s,
yeah.
in a sense.
Oh, like Winter Barrel look like a kiddish game.
Yeah,
Uh,
with the,
Game?
so
I
would
don't
it
know.
look? Would it Winter? I don't know why I can't speak today. Wintersboro, looked like a. I'm gonna reference games that I'm almost positive that you guys do not know. Uh,
hmm.
looked like a knock on Forever Winter, and seems to be more about survival. It's gonna be a survival game.
Hmm.
Around that aspect. So I was like, all right, are they going to do a twist on like Don't Starve and games like that with a survival aspect with like a mice and winter aspect on it?
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
I, I know that Forever Winter game.
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, I heard of it too. Uh, I did want to ask you though, what did you think about Flintlock? How did you think that looked? I really liked how the combat looks in that game. That's what
it
really has me drawn.
it looks very similar, and this is my take, obviously, my opinion.
Hmm.
It looks very similar to like Bloodborne or not the Life of Pi. What is it? Is it the Life of Pi? Is that the one I'm thinking of with Pinocchio? The Souls like
I have no idea.
I'll look it up. But yeah, so uh, the Lies of P. I'm sorry. Uh, so Lies of P is a Souls-like game that looks very similar to it. So I'm thinking it's like, all right, so this is like a different spin on Lies of P, very visually, aesthetically, and things like that. So I'm thinking it's like, all right, so it's a Souls-like single-player game. It really depends on how they do the combat in all those games. So
Hmm.
really need to see more about the combat. It looks great. I can't play another Souls-like game, especially with Elden Ring around the corner with the expansion.
Oh yeah, yeah, understandable. What'd you think about it, Mike?
It looked interesting, and the combat seems similar to like other games that I've played.
Yeah,
I,
it kind of gave me like a God of War a little bit, almost like a.
I don't wouldn't go that far. I would definitely not.
I
No, because that's more combo. I gotta say, damn, there's a game that it really reminds me of, and it's not coming to my mind. Like,
yeah, I can't
it's
think
not
of
Devil
it.
May Cry, right?
No.
But I gotta think about it. But go ahead, Mike.
I mean, I might have to keep looking at it and keep if any other trailers to maybe to keep think about playing it. But
It comes out next month.
so yeah, I'll look more into it, see if it's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I plan to get it. I'm gonna try it out. Well, obviously I'll check how the reviews come out. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Actually, that's a good way to segue to what I would like to talk. We mentioned it earlier, but the critiques we had, the critiques about the show, either games themselves, or the way the show was ran, or anything along those lines. I mean, if we need topics, I'll start us off.
No, I would say something that I felt they could have done more is like you mentioned, I think off camera, was like they kind of it just kind of felt like watching trailer after trailer.
I mean, that's what I
There
was
was
gonna
like
bring
no
up.
yeah, there was no like true introduction to each game, kind of like build up a little anticipation to what you're gonna watch next. You know, a little hype. Hey, we know you guys have been asking for so and so. You know, like build up to each game.
Yeah.
At least even some of the big ones that they're trying to push, like, you know, especially like the return of like Perfect Dark. You know what I mean? That's interesting. I didn't think they would bring another Perfect Dark game, but like something like that, like games like they could have introduced, like even the new Stalker 2 that I think looks incredible. But yeah, that's one of my critiques.
Yeah,
I think
felt
like
oh no, continue, Mike. Go ahead.
no, I think for that because I think they gave out 30 games. If you
Mhm.
were to like kind of introduce like certain ones, it's just gonna expand. I think maybe the purpose was just to throw all the games out there, you know, for you guys to see the trailers and you know to get excited about. But I do agree, like sometimes you want some kind of pre-context before the actual game, you know, get some excitement in. But I think it just make the showcase even longer, and you know,
Mhm.
people's attention span can be very short.
I agree. My personal pick on that, because I said I was going to mention it before,
Mhm.
was that I felt like the times that they did talk were random, or I felt like they were picking they were not like spaced out. It wasn't like two trailers and then one trailer they talk about, and then two trailers and then one trailer they talk about. It was like very random in between, or it felt sporadic. And then the things they would talk about are like games that I did not expect them to talk about. So like it felt very weird the way they paced it. And I know people like there's like a general audience that's just like, we would like more trailers and less talking, and I go like, that's great and all. Either don't talk or talk more. Choose one of them. Don't pick the middle road because it's gonna hurt everyone.
It really did.
Yeah.
It really did.
It was weird, yeah, when they decided to talk like 40 minutes in,
Yeah.
20 minutes in, they talk, and then like the next 27 minutes, I'm like,
Yeah.
how are you deciding which game? You know, my critique is they didn't do it in alphabetical order.
You know what? A valid critique. It's a valid critique.
I mean, if you got OCD, yeah, you were really pissed off about their order. Like, got OCD, you.
How is Assassin's Creed starts with an A is at the end of the towards the end of the like if you're gonna
shadows,
talk,
it's S.
Gerard, didn't you have a critique about Assassin's Creed? Because when I was saying it looked
I
good,
hate it.
Mike,
I absolutely
What?
fucking hate it. I hate it
are
so
you
much.
kidding me?
I actually will not
You
play
hate it?
Assassin's Creed. I hate it. I hate it with a passion.
You hated that trailer? You
I
hate how
the
it
trailer.
looks?
I hate it. I hate everything about it.
oh Jesus. Well,
If
So
it
there
makes you
wasn't-
feel, if it makes you feel better, it is equally as hated as the last one.
And that I don't know how the last one was. I don't remember which one was the last one, so I can't
It's just-
agree or not.
What have they done differently? They've added a new character
Mhm.
that you can play as. Now I am 50% less assassin-y because I am not playing an assassin 50% of the time.
Yeah.
No. What's the point of Assassin's Creed?
I suppose.
I
Anything
just the gimmick is not for me. Or I don't want to say the gimmick. That mechanic is not for me.
I can see that. I can
Any
see that.
critiques? I did have one critique about the overall game show. And I actually, you know what, we talked about I already brought it up, but I wanted to go more in detail with it. Was like, there's a lot the Call of Duty aspects. They did a trailer in the beginning, and then they did the showcase at the end, or not the showcase, the little expo, or like a little
Mm-hmm.
film about the single player.
Mm-hmm.
And my thoughts are, one, they should have done the multiplayer, but that's because there's less to talk about. But people are wanting to hear them talk about multiplayer. Now, if it's not done like you brought up, which is a good argument, it's like, maybe it's just not finished. And I was like, okay, fine. But then my counter argument is, why is the single player finished before the multiplayer?
I would say the biggest factor for that, if that's the case, let's just be open-minded to that, would be because they're taking all the critiques that they've recently have gotten. Either you got to think about it. I think Activision as a whole, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, whoever it is, they still work together in a sense. So they're paying attention to what fans are saying. I feel like because, like I said earlier, it was like it looks like they're making adjustments to the things that we are talking about. So that's the only thing I feel like they're hesitant to put that out there because they think they're still making tweaks.
And I think
And they
it's
have
just
it.
easier to do the single player mode
Yeah.
to then do the multiplayer because, like I said, they just want to wait until they feel as I don't say perfect enough, but like
Yeah.
good enough for it to be shown.
And
While
it's
single player, it's just easier.
they do have a set date too, Gerard. It's not like they're shying away from it. They have a set date. They tell you when the showcase is for the multiplayer. So
I mean, yeah, and that's my thoughts are. So, I, for one, whenever I get a Call of Duty game, I beat the story. There are people like me who will beat the story and not touch the multiplayer, and then there are people like you, Gio, who ever touch the single player and only play the multiplayer. Okay. And then there are people who only play the Battle Royale, the Warzone, and do not get the game at all. All right?
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 different audiences, okay? All three of them, okay?
There's 4. You forgot about zombie players. Some people just play zombies,
Look,
bro.
the last Zombies was basically Battle Royale. Don't start me with that. Anyway, that's a critique I have. Well, I'm not gonna go into it. Anyway,
save that for Call of Duty's episode, all right?
All right, but those audiences, right, are gonna be wide dispersed. Okay, I believe, and this is me not citing any sources. I feel like this would be the case. I feel like the majority is the multiplayers, so the battle zones and the multiplayer players. I think the single player people are the minority, and I even think a majority of the single player people still go to play multiplayer. There's very, very little single player only people, because let's be honest, Call of Duty has good stories. They don't have amazing stories ever, but it's like the original OG Modern Warfare 1 and 2, I guess, because it connected. But like, I think the majority is multiplayer, and my thought, and this could go both ways. I can see their aspect of like, we save it its own thing because there's going to be a lot more players who want this. We'll have it as its own thing. But then when you tell me that, I go like, okay, so I know the single player is here. Now I gotta wait for the multiplayer. Problem is that I'm getting right now I want to know is like, if they do the multiplayer in a wrong way and it's by itself, I'm going to be really upset that I waited. Rather than if they put the multiplayer aspect at the end of this, it'd be like, all right, that looks either good or bad. If it looks good, I'm going to go, all right, the single player one, the story and everything like that, I want to look at that one because I want more. Because they probably don't do the single player. They just probably go talk about the game overall in that expo rather than just the multiplayer. I mean, we have to wait and see what they are. I'm pretty sure we'll probably have another podcast talking about it. But that is just my take. So
I'll let you go, Mike.
Yeah.
If you got something to rebuttal to that.
You could save it another time.
Yeah. I don't want to turn this into a Call of Duty episode.
Yeah, well obviously we'll talk about it Call of Duty.
Can we talk about Gears of War E-Day, though?
No.
That's definitely going to be its own episode.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I ruined it for you guys, though. So, like, because nobody...
Most overrated game.
What? Excuse me?
Mike, I will disconnect you from this call.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Excuse me?
Mm-hmm. I will say Gears of War was a genuine surprise, even though you did spoil it for us. I honestly am looking forward to Gears of War. Like, excited. Mm-hmm. You know, did I write it down as an excited game? I did not.
Yeah, I don't think you had to because you knew I was putting that shit down.
Yeah. I am definitely excited for the game.
We're giving that its own topic.
I'm definitely getting that game. Now, with that being said, does anyone have any final critiques that they want to mention before we go? Mike, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. I would like for you gamers to let us know what your favorite game or most excited game from the expo was, or the showcase, if you even watched it. Or if you disagree with any of our topics, let us know. With that being said, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.
Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Part-Time Gamers podcast. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And follow us on our other social platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Discord. Links for those will be provided in the description. Thank you again. We will see you on the next episode of the podcast. And make sure you make some time for video games. Peace.